In structure 3-4 of our text, we'll be talking more about adjectives. Remember, we talked about adjectives back in Module 1, and if you've forgotten what it is and what they are, you might go back and take a look. What we said in Module 1 is that most feminine adjectives are formed by adding an E to the masculine ending, and most plurals then add an S. Ton père est assez strict. Ta mère est-elle stricte aussi? Et tes grands-parents, sont-ils stricts? Here we can see that with père, which is masculine and singular, we leave the adjective alone. Mère, however, is feminine and singular, so we just add an E to the end. Because grands-parents is plural, we add an S to the end of the adjective. Not all adjectives follow this pattern, however. There are some irregularities, and I've represented them in this chart, which is also on page 86 in your text. Note that this chart is a little scary at first, but really, once you find the feminine ending, it follows the pattern that all the adjectives do. If the adjective ends in an E with an accent aigu, you simply add another E and an S, just like usual, to form the feminine. Examples of this are gâté, which means spoiled, or stressé, which you may feel around exams. If a masculine ending adjective in IF, or ends in IF, to form the feminine, we change the F to a V and then add the E. To make the plural form, we just add an S. Sportif with an S or sportive with an S. Actif with an S, active with an S. There are some adjectives that end in EU or X. To form the feminine, we simply change that X to an S before adding the E. Therefore, nerveux becomes nerveuse, sérieux becomes sérieuse. Now, these are a little tricky. The nerveux form does not change for the plural. If it ends in an EUX, that works for both the masculine singular and the masculine plural. The feminine, however, nerveuse, you do need to add the S for the plural. Similarly, EUR changes the R to an S before adding the E. Travailleur, travailleuse. In both cases, just add an S for the plural. There are a couple of adjectives that end in ON, like bon and mignon. Mignon means cute. To get to the feminine ending, we double the N and add an E. Bon, bonne. Mignon, mignonne. Just add an S for the plural. Bon with an S, bonne with an S. And there's one adjective that we're going to learn that ends in OS. And similarly, you add another S, you double the S, and add an E. Gros and grosse. It means fat. Here's an example. Elle a les cheveux blonds et les yeux bleus. She has blonde hair and blue eyes. Because hair is masculine and plural, got more than one of them, blonde is masculine and plural. Et les yeux bleus, because yeux, eyes, is plural and masculine. Bleu also is plural and masculine. Est-ce que tu aimes les gens actifs? Because gens, people, is plural and masculine. Actif is plural and masculine. Where do we put the adjectives in a sentence? Well, as you already know, most adjectives in French come after the noun they modify. There are a couple, however, that come before the noun. These are what we call our bags adjective. Bag stands for beauty, age, goodness, and size. Now don't overthink this too much. Beauty is really words like beau and joli. Age are things like vieux, which means old, jeune, young, and nouveau, new. Goodness pretty much is good, bon, and bad, mauvais. Size has a few more examples. Petit, short or small. Grand, tall. Gros, fat. And long, long. When you have a bags adjective, you put that before the noun. If you have any other adjective, you put it after the noun. La petite fille arrive avec son gros chien noir. The little girl is coming with her big black cat. In French, there's an order to the adjectives. Bags adjectives come before the noun. Everything else comes after the noun. There's actually an order in English too. We don't say in English, the little girl arrives with her black cat big. Because some adjectives come before the noun, and because of that famous thing with the French and their tongues and having two vowels together, some adjectives have an extra form. These are some examples. Beau has an extra form. When the word beau comes before a noun like homme that starts with a vowel or that silent H, we use the form belle. And then we're back to normal with belle, feminine. Un beau garçon, un bel homme, une belle femme. Vieux, which means old, also has an extra form. We could talk about an old friend, but friend unfortunately starts with a vowel, which means we can't do the tongue vowel thing together. So we have to use the extra fifth form for the masculine singular form of old, vieille. Un vieux livre, an old book. Un vieil ami, an old friend. Une vieille maison, an old house. Same with nouveau, which means new. Un nouveau film, un nouvel acteur, une nouvelle voiture. You can see that the extra form of the adjective, is derived from the feminine form. Instead of having two consonants and a vowel, we just stop after the consonant. It's the end of today's presentation. I know this was a lot of information this week, so if you have questions, please rewind the video and watch it again. Note your questions if you have them. You can ask me in class. Otherwise, go ahead and take that quiz now, and I'll see you when you come to lab.